I've worked with so many buyers in Northeast Arkansas over the past few years, and I always hear the same myths over and over. And the problem is, these lies can cost you thousands of dollars. What's up, everybody? My name is Talon. I am a local real estate salesperson here in Northeast Arkansas, serving communities in Jonesboro, Brooklyn, Paragould, and surrounding cities, helping people buy and sell real estate. So whether you're an investor, whether you're a first-time home buyer, or whether you're a seller looking to capitalize on the equity in your home, I'd love to have an opportunity to earn your business. Stick around to the end of the video to gain some much value if you're a buyer. Otherwise, click the subscribe button for future content. My puppy will not get out of my lap. She wants to do this video with me. One of the first and one of the biggest myths that I hear from buyers in Northeast Arkansas is this concept that they have to have 20% down to buy a house. They say, Talon, I would love to buy a house, but I don't have 20% of the purchase price to do it, or I don't have thousands and thousands of dollars to spend on a down payment. And I'm not hooping and hollering on the fact that a down payment is a bad thing. That's not what I'm saying. A down payment is obviously a good thing. It goes towards the principal of your property, but the true key into home ownership isn't always a down payment. And so there are great loan programs out there like FHA, USDA, that, and even, like a first-time home buyer loan with a conventional option, you can do as little as 3% down all the way to 0% down on a home that is perfect for you and your family, that literally requires zero money out of pocket potentially. And so of course there's stipulations, of course there's nuances to some of that stuff, but my point is don't let the fact that you don't have 20% down to put on the down payment keep you from buying a house in 2026. Because the biggest obstacle of somebody not being able to own their own home isn't a down payment, it's believing that they have to have one. All right, the next myth that I hear quite frequently, and it does usually come from a lens of caution, and maybe they're listening to their parents or the news outlets, and they say that they should wait for interest rates to drop. Now, I've done a plethora of videos like this in the past. If you want to view them, they're all on my YouTube channel. But typically, when waiting for interest rates to drop is your only determining factor on whether you should buy a house or not, that could be costing you thousands of dollars, and it might end up biting you in the butt later on. The first point I'd like to make with this is no one really knows where rates are going. Yeah, the economic people in the White House are trying to do it. Everyone would love it to happen, but there's not just some magic button that we can push and interest rates are now all of a sudden in the threes again like 2019. Unfortunately, it's not that easy, and if you are waiting for interest rates to drop, you could perhaps be waiting for a long while before you see that. Another thing people miss, that when you wait for interest rates to drop, usually when rates drop, the prices go up now that there's this giant amount of demand. And so you might overspend on a property when interest rates drop by $20,000, $30,000, $40,000, when right now you could actually get a $20,000, $30,000, $40,000 discount on a property today. Now, yes, you have a higher interest rate, but if you really believe that interest rates are coming down, guess what you can do? You can take the cheaper home that you were able to buy in a tricky market and then refinance your high interest rate when they do drop. Now you've got the best of both worlds. You don't have to fight over this house, and you don't have to overpay for it. I had a seller at the beginning of this year actually reach out to me, and she was selling a really nice home in a well-established neighborhood, and she bought the property, unfortunately, when interest rates were really low. She unfortunately ended up getting a divorce, and they were no longer keeping this property or staying in it, therefore they had to sell it. But because they had overpaid for it years ago when interest rates were really low, unfortunately she took about a $50,000 loss on that property, all for the sake of getting a good interest rate a couple years ago. And so overpaying for property is never the solution, even when interest rates are really low. The next myth that I hear is that I should spend or use all the money that I'm approved for. I recently made a video about this as well, and so many people get pre-approved for $300,000 or $200,000, and man, they go all the way up to the ceiling, and usually that's not a healthy habit. Just because a credit card company gives you a line of credit for $5,000 does not mean that you max out that line of credit, because unfortunately life can take its toll and circumstances that you did not see can happen and things can change in the economy. Jobs can be lost, and all of a sudden that payment that you maxed out on that credit card, or a house payment rather, is now slowly becoming very toxic. And so yes, you got pre-approved for a certain number, but I would challenge you to really figure out what kind of budget makes sense for you guys, not just financially on a piece of paper, but comfort wise. Look, I'll put it to you this way. The bank does qualify you, but they do not live your life. And so do not max out your approval just for the sake of buying the best and the biggest house that you can afford. All right, the next myth that I see people making, unfortunately, kind of breaks my heart sometimes, because when they start shopping for homes, they don't actually reach out to their trusted realtor. They unfortunately just go to an app like Zillow and just start shopping for homes. Or perhaps they go to Facebook Marketplace and start sending, "Hi, is this available?" on every house they see. Next thing you know, you're talking with a random agent from a website that you don't even know, and you have unfortunately, brother, forgot about me, that you know that you can trust in the business in this market, that would love to help you, but you've already entangled yourself with these random people on social media or off Zillow. And I tell people all the time, when you're ready to start shopping for houses, don't do anything without talking to me first, because I want to help point you in the right direction, give you some major red flags to watch out for, and of course, prepare a plan for you where you succeed rather than fail. And don't even get me started on all the cons of using a website like Zillow or Realtor.com. I've made a whole video about that too. I'll leave a link to it in the description below. But if you were looking for an app where we do not sell your information to other agents, I'm going to link my free app that you can utilize today. All you got to do, click the link below, download it, and I'll give it to you for free. It's literally something we use personally on properties that we're looking to buy. You can put searches that are specifically tailored to price, size, land, area, wherever you want. It's very customizable. Use it. It's free. I'll give it to you to look for homes. Anyways, that was my little self-promotion there. Typically, don't go to the internet. Go to a real person that is a professional in that industry. Have a conversation with them, learn from them, get some wisdom from them, and let them point you in the right direction. All right, the fifth myth that I see is new construction doesn't need a home inspection. And my home inspectors, they ought to be praising me right now in the comments, because this has been a big topic here locally in Northeast Arkansas over the past year, especially the past couple of months. These buyers are coming, they think they're buying a brand new move-in ready turnkey house, and then when the inspector goes in and they find that the washer and dryer vent is non-existent, or there's leaks in the pipes that are brand new. Typically, when we buy brand new things, we expect brand new results and top quality, but unfortunately, hey, look, people do make mistakes. I'm not trying to hoot and holler on builders, right? But sometimes these builders with good intentions might not be monitoring every single thing their contractor does, and that contractor might subcontract that out to someone that might not be as qualified as these really nice quality contractors in the area. Therefore, we see problems even on new construction. So just because a property is brand new, that doesn't mean you should go into it blindly and not do a home inspection, because there could be major things wrong with that property. And just because it is appealing to your eye and brand new does not mean that you cannot make mistakes when purchasing that property. All right, the last myth I kind of wanted to talk about in this video is whenever I hear somebody say, "I will know it's the one for me when I see it." I cannot tell you how many times I've been with that Sally Sue that says, "Oh, don't worry, Taylon, I will know, I will have a feeling that this is the right house the second I see it." And when I'm walking in this house, and I'm not trying to, hurt their intuition here, but I'm looking at things like, man, if it were me, I'm going to stay away from this house. And unfortunately, it creates a really hard conflict because they feel as though this is the right house for them. But as a real estate agent, I see major problems with this potentially, that they are kind of naive to get checked out or to investigate further because they have this emotional persona or false reality that this is the one for them. I'm not saying that you can't use that as a deciding factor, but what I am saying is make sure to do your due diligence to make sure you're not blindly making a false or a bad decision. I tell people this all the time. The best buyers don't just find good homes. They are people that often make the best decisions. All right, so look, I hope this video has helped you. I hope I didn't ramble too much in this video. I wanted to bring some value to you where maybe if you're a buyer shopping for homes in Northeast Arkansas, you can use this and say, whoa, wait a minute, self-reflect here a little bit. I've done this one or I've thought about this one. Thank you, Jalen, for clarifying. And that's what I do these videos for, is to bring value to our community. That way we can kind of break this false mirror or lens or barrier between real estate people and consumers that are in the market. My job is to be transparent with you as a realtor, to give you so much insight and value from this side where you can really see the true gain of working with a realtor. So with that being said, if you need help with buying, selling, investing in Northeast Arkansas, all my information is down below. You can schedule a one-on-one call with me, or you can just call me directly. I'll put my cell phone number down there. And other than that, thanks again so much for watching. If you liked it, leave a like, comment something you learned, and subscribe for more videos like this.